Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. For some reason, the Tribeca Festival locked Jim Gaffigan and Michael Ian Black in a room together to talk to the audience about parenting. Okay. Michael was curious how Jim's perception of being a father has changed over time. Gaffigan said, I would say 20 years ago, I have a 21-year-old, but I was much more the view that I'm kind of befuddled by parenting and I'm not equipped for it. And my viewpoint now is that children are evil. I joke around and say parenting is the most important thing I'll fail at. And there is something to that. But I think if human beings remembered how difficult and complicated and impossible teenagers are, the species would cease to exist. I think we forget that parenting is similar to the entertainment industry. Wait, by that, does he mean that, like, if you help somebody early in their career, you stop calling them back? Does Jim not call his kids back? Is that what Jim is saying there? That as 20 years goes by, he doesn't call back people? Sorry, I digressed there. You could figure it out, read between the lines. Jim said, I think that we forget that parenting is similar to the entertainment industry, filled with enormous amounts of humiliation, and you're biting your tongue a lot. When kids are younger, there's a cuteness to it. And when your kids are teenagers, they're not conscious of it. But there's a cruelty that you're exposed to. The Houston Press wrote about Matt Rife's crowd work. Rife said, there's just something kind of unique. It's either unique or not, language snob, and special to my show that I just do for fun on top of the prepared material. I've been so lucky to be so many people's introduction to comedy via the success I've had online and the people who have found me. But it's easy for people to think that's all it is. But there's so much work that goes into the preparation and the crafting of material. And they should in no way expect that from every comedian. Honestly, not even myself. I don't force situations. I can't guarantee a certain amount of the show will be crowd work, but it is something I personally like to do. The spontaneity of it makes it new and refreshing to me. How does Rife find time to write new material? He said, that's the hardest part, especially over the last year and a half. We're doing 40 to almost 50 shows a month sometimes, nonstop. You have to find some time for your life. When life happens, that's when material happens. But I don't really have time to sit at a desk for 6 hours a day and go, pen to pad. How do I write a joke about this? Let's write a joke. Premise, setup, punchline. That's not my creative style. Things happen. Something will happen in my life that sparks humor in me, makes me laugh. Then I think, now we're onto something. We've got the foundation of something, and now I can take pen and paper to etch this out. My brain has locked on the almost 50 shows a month, all right? So a typical month has, say, 30 days. Let's assume he takes 1 day off a week. So those are 6-day weeks. So that would be 26 days of work. So is he doing 2 a days, Friday, Saturday? So I can do the math here, right? So if there's 26 days, and then if you did 2 shows on the Friday, that'd be 4 more. So that'd be 30. And if you did 2 shows on Saturday, that'd be 34. If you did 2 shows on the Thursday, that'd be 38. I can get to 40. I can't get to 50. I'm sorry, Matt Rife. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me out here. Let me look at Matt Rife's actual touring schedule and see what I come up with. Sorry, I am digressing here, but my brain is totally locked on this. Does Matt Rife not have a website? Matt Rife Official. Shows. Here we go. Okay, so he's got a show June 21st in South Carolina. There's a wait list. There are tickets available for June 22nd. There's 1 show. Then July 5th in Hawaii. There's 1 show and tickets still available. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this. I don't know how you get to 50. Let me ask ChatGPT to help me out. I have typed in, comedian Matt Rife says he plays 40 shows a month. What would a schedule like that look like for a typical comedian? Chat says 40 shows a month is an ambitious schedule that would involve a high level of travel and consistent performance. Here's an example of what it might look like. If Rife does 40 shows a month, that averages out to 10 shows per week. That would mean 2 to 3 shows per day for 3 to 4 days a week. Here's a sample itinerary. Again, this is all made up by the AI, but I'm obsessed here. Monday would be a travel day and then a show at 7 and 9:30. Tuesday, you do shows at 7 and 9:30, then travel to the next city. Wednesday, do 7 and 9:30, have some free time. Get up Thursday, travel to the next city, do 2 shows, then do 2 shows on Friday, and maybe a 3rd show at 11:30 p.m. on the Friday. Also 3 shows on Saturday, and then a show on Sunday, and then travel. So that's no days off. So I don't know. That seems a little high, but I'm not a touring comedian. I'm an idiot in the basement with a podcast. I digress. Let's get back to it. Rife said, I forget every single day that I have the recognizability I have now. I'll wake up and think no one knows me at all, thinking I'm right back where I was 5 years ago. I can't go in any restaurant or store without someone giving me a compliment or giving thanks to the videos I post online for them to laugh at. It's very surreal, man. I'm very lucky and very blessed for people to find what I do funny and find me at whatever time they need to find me in their life. It's a very giving job. Brad Williams told Macon.com he started making jokes as a defense mechanism, realizing he could never be the quarterback, but I could be the funny guy. At age 19, Brad was brought on stage by Carlos Mencia after Carlos made a joke about people with dwarfism. Mencia had noticed that most of the crowd laughed, but the people sitting near Brad didn't laugh, and then he saw Williams. Mencia wanted to ask him questions. Brad answered questions honestly, not meaning to be funny, but the crowd laughed. He asked me what I did for a living at the time, and Williams said, not a joke. I just said, I work at Disneyland, and I heard some people chuckle, and I said, shut up, I'm not one of the 7, and that made them laugh again. That's when I thought, oh, maybe this comedy thing could be a lot of fun. There's no greater compliment than someone who comes in, is kind of unfamiliar with the work, and then enjoys it. Zarna Garg got a big profile in the New York Times. In it, she shared that I have a complicated relationship with self-care. If you're a South Asian woman, you're taught that self-care is bad. It's selfish. If you want to look good, why? You're already married. It's about your kids now. As her entertainment career took off, she grew motivated to take better care of her appearance and said, it's not helping anybody for me to stand up on stage and not look put together. It's just distracting. Kevin Pollock spoke to the Pitch KC. Kevin says he doesn't get nervous about anything. Yeah, it might be signs of a sociopath, but nothing's ever made me nervous, including sitting on Johnny Carson's couch, the televised one. Ever since I was 10 years old and started being a natural-born ham in front of an audience, I've always felt excited. It's like Christmas morning. Kevin's going to be in Tulsa King. He said, yeah, it drops in September. I'm a new series regular the next couple of seasons. Came out of nowhere, and I was shocked at how much fun it was. Sometimes they make it fiscally irresponsible to stay on the couch, and it doesn't really matter if it's quote-unquote fun. But every now and then, it's incredibly fun, and then this ridiculous bonus, and that's what Tulsa King has been. That's a good show. Jenna Fisher told the Fly on the Wall podcast that it was Molly Shannon who changed her life. She said, I'm a huge SNL nerd. The greatest part about being on The Office and being on NBC was that I got to breathe the same air as SNL people. I was a total groupie. Fisher explained before being cast as Pam on The Office, she worked as a typist. She'd attend TV Critics Association events as a transcriber. She heard about an upcoming event dedicated to SNL and said, I wanted it more than my little new heart in LA could stand. I started pretending like I didn't feel good because I was going to make an excuse that I was sick so I could get off work on time and then sneak into this party. She sneaks in. I can't even tell you, it was amazing. Norm Macdonald, I'm looking at him in the flesh. I can't. My mind is blown. Then I see Molly Shannon. I think, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say hi to Molly Shannon. She looked at me, took me by the shoulders, looked me deep in the eyes and said, don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up. It took me 10 years to get on SNL, and my best advice to you is just know it'll happen eventually if you stick with it. Sticking Office-ish, Donald Gleason is the lead in The Paper, which is the Office spin-off of sorts. Gleason hopes people will find a reason to love his character. He told People, I don't think my character is like Michael Scott at all. I think if you're trying to compete with what Steve did or with what Ricky Gervais did, I think that'd be a massive mistake. We made a whole new character, and it's a whole new sort of setup, but I hope people will find a reason to love him as well, just in a different way than they did the guys before. And looking ahead to the fall, the Columbus Comedy Festival, they've got a pretty decent lineup here. September 4th through the 7th, this year's festival features Pauly Shore, The Second City, Sam Talent, Mo Welch, and some others. The lineup will include a mix of stand-up comedy, improv, sketch comedy, live podcast recording, variety/alternative shows, game shows, industry mixers, and more. Several fan-favorite shows will return, including Female AF, an all-woman stand-up lineup, Drunk PowerPoint, you can figure out what that is, and Chicago Showcase, 5 Chicago comedians, hosted by viral sensation Chad the Bird. I'm not familiar with Chad the Bird. Back to Google. ChadTheBird.com luckily has a link that says, what's a Chad Bird? Chad the Bird has been Chicago's laziest journalist and only avian op-ed columnist for 15 years until he got drunk and joined TikTok, went viral, travel, and get up early. He's even got a podcast, The Birdcast. I'll have to check that out. All right, cool. I'm going to check out the May 10th episode called We're Not Going to Talk About Star Wars. The description is in which I discuss new details that have emerged about the birthplace of Plato and totally not Star Wars. I'm in. Oh, and the next episode's about Pinball City. This is right up my alley. All right, that's your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.